excited today because one of the tools that we're going to use is one that scientists use all the time, and it's called a pipette. You also may know it as an eyedropper or a squirter, and it does all those things. But it's a very useful tool if you're going to do some science experiments. And today we're going to do some color mixing by using a pipette or dropper. And the first thing that we're going to do is, and you see I have some colors here. The first thing we're going to do is practice using the pipette. It's not tricky, but it just, if you haven't ever used one before, this is how it works. There's a little bulb right here at the top, and it's squishy. So you take your fingers, your thumb and your forefinger, and you squeeze it. When you do that, the air gets pushed out the little end, and whatever in the long tube gets squirted or dropped out the other side. So I'm going to stick it in some water, and the first thing I'm going to do is stick the end right down in the water. Then I'm going to squeeze, and then to get the water to go up into that tube, I'm going to release. And when I watch, the water gets sucked up into the tube. We'll do that with some yellow, liquid. So here we go. So I'm going to stick the end down in, and you can do this right along with me. Squeeze the bulb, then let that bulb go, and ta-da! See how the liquid got sucked right up into the tube? Now to get that liquid out, you just squeeze again slowly. There's 1 drop, 2 drops, just a little pressure. Or you can squirt a lot. All right, so let's practice that again. Squeeze, let it go, and it gets sucked up into the tube, and then little drops, little drop, a little squeeze, a little drop, a little squeeze, a little drop, a little squeeze, and then a big squirt. So either way, you're learning how to use a pipette or an eyedropper. Okay, so moving right along, we're going to go to our next experiment now that you've learned a little bit of how to squeeze a pipette and get it to drop and to squirt. And one of the things that we're going to do is we're going to get out an ice cube tray and do some color mixing. So you may only have 1 or 2 of these around to use as the tool. I am lucky enough to have 4 or 5. So if we're working with colors, you don't want to have the colors in your 2 containers or in your ice cube tray mixed inside your pipette. You want it to mix in your container. So you have a little bit of clear water, and you can suck up some clear water and rinse it out. So if I wanted to do red and then squirt that in my ice cube tray, and then I only had 1 pipette and I didn't want to mix the red into the yellow, I would rinse out my pipette with some clear liquid, and then I could use this one, the one that was in red before, in yellow. And then, oh, now it's got yellow in it, and what if I wanted to do blue? I'd have to rinse it out. Okay, so we need 1 more color before we move to our ice cube tray, and that is blue. We have red, which is a primary color. We have yellow, which is another primary color, and there's 3 of them. So we're going to show you how to mix some blue. Now you may have some watercolor paint or some food coloring, and I have a little bit of water in here, and I'm going to mix in a few drops of blue to make it nice and blue. So now I have my 3 primary colors. I have blue. I'm going to slash that around a little bit. Slash, slash, slash. A little bit more. There we go. Now it's nice and dark and deep. And I have red, and I have yellow. In the container, this yellow looks a little bit orange, but it's not. When I pull it up and you're not looking at a whole lot of it, it's definitely yellow. See that? So primary color yellow, primary color red, primary color blue. So now I'm going to switch cameras so you can see what we're going to do down on the table. And we're going to get out an ice cube tray. So if you've got one, get out your ice cube tray because we're going to do some color mixing. Okay, so here's my rinse water. Here's my blue. Oops. Yep, there's my blue. Here's my red. And here is the yellow. So what I want you to do is use your pipette, of course, by squeezing that bulb. And I'm going to do blue first. Squeeze that bulb, suck up the blue, and put it in one of the sections of your ice cube tray. See what I'm doing there? I'm filling up one little section by squeezing and dripping and squirting of some blue. One primary color blue. Okay, so then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do red right next to it. So I'm squeezing my pipette and squirting my pipette. Squeeze and squirt. And I'm filling up the next one with red. Squeeze and squirt, about 3 or 4 of them, you know, till you get a little bit in there. Squirt, squirt, squirt. So now the next one, the next primary color, of course, is yellow. And squirt, 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 squirt. Suck and squirt. There we go. So now, where do all the other colors come from? Well, you may have already done something like this before, and you know that when you mix your primary colors, you're going to get some other colors. When the primary colors combine, they make secondary colors. And so what we're going to do is see what colors that we can make by combining 2 of the primary colors to get a secondary color. So let's try, what do you think? I think we should try some blue and put it in another section of our ice cube tray. So 1 squirt, I think I'm going to do 2 squirts of blue. And let's, in that same one where the blue is, let's try yellow this time. Okay, 2 squirts of yellow. Oh, what's going on? What color did I get now? Green, yay! So blue mixed with yellow equals green. So I'm going to rinse out my pipette so I can put it back in yellow. All right, so there we go. Now let's see, we did blue and we did yellow. So let's try red and yellow. Let's see what happens when I do red and yellow. So 2 squirts of red. Dun, 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 dun. And 2 squirts of yellow in that same container. Now that looks fairly the same color. Red, I think, is a little stronger. Should I put some more yellow in there? Yeah, I think I will. A little bit more yellow because that red is kind of overpowering. Well, it's starting to look a little more orange. And I'm going to put directly some more yellow right in it. Ding, 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 from my bottle. I'm sort of doing an experiment now. And it's looking a little bit more orange, a little bit more. There, if you can see. There we go. See, it is orange. Doesn't necessarily look like it in my tray, but it is turning orange very slowly. Cool. All right, so that was red and yellow together. What 2 colors didn't we mix together yet? Let's see, we didn't do blue and red. Let's do blue and red. Those 2 primary colors, what secondary color will that make? Okay, here is 2 blue, 1, 2 squirts, and what did I say? Red? Okay. A little rinse out here, red into the blue. Now this red is so overpowering. Oh my goodness, what am I getting now? What color is that? It almost looks black, but I think if I pick it up in my pipette and show you in the camera. Purple! So red and blue equal the secondary color of purple. So now we've got a whole bunch of really cool colors. We've got blue, we've got red, we got yellow. Those are the primary colors. And then we've got the secondary colors. By mixing those primary colors together, blue and yellow make green, blue and red make purple, and red and yellow make orange. Now what I want you to do is just kind of play around right now. See what other colors you can come up with by mixing some things together. That's what's kind of fun with this. You know, you can always, if you get if you get a weird color, you can always dump your tray and start again and mix and match. So just play around and see what you can do. And you know, if your pipette gets messed up, you can always rinse it out. Let's see, that's a weird looking purple. I'm gonna do some purple over here. And what if I do purple and green? What do you think will happen? Ew! So you try it. You can try any color. I wonder what color that is really. It almost looks like a greenish brown. What do you think? It's green, but it's getting kind of, the more purple I put in that, let's see what happens. Yikes! It's getting more brown and more brown. Huh. Very funny. Okay, so let's see. What else can I combine here? How about my orange? How about my orange? How about a little orange and green? I wonder what will happen. Whoa, now that really looks like sort of a reddish brown, don't you think? I like that color. So you can kind of decide what you want. And I wonder what would happen. I've got a little bit of rinse water here, but it's pretty clear. I'm going to put some clear water here. And it's pretty clear. It's got a little yellow in it, but what happens if I take some red and put it in my clear water? What's going to happen? Ooh, oh, cool. What have I got? Sort of a light red or almost a pink. Let me see if I can do that with blue. Let's see, here we go. A little bit of almost clear water. It's got a little bit of yellow in it, but it's all right. You probably have some more clear water. Oh, let's see, I was gonna do blue, right? Okay, let's see what happens if I put in some blue into my clear water. Ooh, that's cool. Another thing I wanna try is, what if and you can come up with your ideas too, ask a question and then test it out and see what happens. What if I put just a little bit of my blue over here? I'm gonna do 2 squirts. And then maybe some green. What color will I get? Ooh, that's the last of my green. What color will I get with my green? Oh, that's a cool color, green. So you can mix and match. You can do maybe 1 squirt of blue and 1 squirt of green, and then see what happens. Let's see what color, if I take my yellow, and maybe just my green over here and see what happens. Just a little bit. What did I get this time? Ooh, kind of a dirty looking green. So you can mix and match and see what happens. But what I want you to remember today is there's 3 primary colors. Say them with me. Blue, red, and yellow. And then there's also 3 secondary colors. Oops, I used up all my green. By mixing blue and yellow, you get green. by mixing, these are my secondary colors, by mixing red and yellow. You get orange. And by mixing red and blue, you get purple. So purple, orange, and green are the secondary colors. So have fun with this and see what colors that you can come up with. All right, so we're going to take a little break before we do the next project, and we're going to set that up. So let's set up the next project and take down our color mixing ice cube tray right now. Okay, so our next project is we're going to make sort of an art project. And right here, I have a white paper towel. And actually, you know, we can use some of our fun colors that we made with the ice cube tray over here to make our art project on the paper towel. And this is kind of like color mixing too. And for you who don't have a pipette, maybe you tuned in and you don't have a pipette, here's something that you can do instead if you don't have a pipette to use, you know, one of these scientific tools. This paintbrush will work almost as good as a scientific tool, not quite, because you know you can't control the drops. But what you can do, instead of a pipette, I'm going to use the orange here, and I am going to stick my brush into the watercolor that we made, and then I'm going to tap it. Oh, look what I did. I got drops. Can't control the drops as well, but you can use a brush for this too. And that's actually kind of fun. Sort of like a splatter paint. But let's try it with drops. Let's see what happens. I'm going to do a true blue first, and I'm going to squeeze my pipette and suck up that blue, and then I'm going to drop everywhere I want onto my paper. Now that looks a little light, but let's see what happens when I do red. Now you can do this on a coffee filter today too, but if you have, ooh, that's pretty cool. Now what's happening, I see, I'm gonna put some more yellow on there. I can see what's happening. I've got some yellow in there that's mixing in with that red right on the paper. And the edges are turning orange. That's pretty cool. All right, so let's do a little bit more yellow. Now I got some blue on there. I wonder if around the edges near the blue and the yellow, am I getting green? And I'm gonna do two together and see what happens. Oh, whoa, I'm getting a lot of orange. This is turning out to be a pretty cool science project. Now let me put on some other colors, the ones that we mixed too from our ice cube tray, and see what I can get. Wow, that's pretty cool. All right, let's see. I have a pink. That probably will be too light to show up too well. That's going to look like water. Well, that's not too bad. Well, it's kind of fun. All right. So you can do an art project, and you can do, when this one gets kind of soggy, you can trade it out, and you can do another one. And when you let it dry, actually when you let it dry, the colors will show up pretty good too. And like I say, try this also with, if your parents have a coffee filter, that works too. Okay, so watch the colors mix together. Oh, you know what I didn't do last time? I didn't do purple. We're gonna see what purple looks like. Ooh, whoa, drop, 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 drop. Now when you're getting really good at using the pipette, you can do individual drops. Let's do 10 drops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, then a big squirt. I like the big squirts. Those are fun. All right, so then I've got this weird greeny color I kind of like. Woo! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And when you do drop by drop, you can control where you want to do it. And sometimes when you do science experiments, control of where you put things is a thing. Ooh, that's looking pretty cool. All right, let's see. Oh, this needs some blue. All right, so you can do as many of these art projects as you want to. You know, you got a roll of paper towels, you got maybe a few coffee filters, but watch what happens when you get the edges of one color close to another color. Boy, it really mixes. And your food coloring might be a little bit darker than mine. Woo! Oh, look, I got orange. That's very cool. All right, so there's my second science project. And now we're going to do another really kind of fun, a little less arty, a little more sciencey project. And I'm going to get out that, so we'll take just a slight break here while I set up our experiment with milk and dish soap. We hope we're going to get some really cool moving colors with this. So to do this science experiment, I've got just a flat dish, flat plate that I put down. And I put it inside my tray because I don't want to spill things. Last time I was a little messy, so I decided that I'd have more protection. And then I also have a little bit of, this is Dawn dish soap, but any kind of dish soap will do. And you can even use the whole squirt bottle. And then I have my colors. I have my primary colors of blue, right? Red, right? And yellow. And we're going to see what happens when we mix those in with milk. So the first thing, of course, we're going to use our pipettes. And if you don't have a pipette, of course, the paintbrush will work. All right, so first thing to do this experiment is you pour the milk into your plate. There it goes. So if you have a little pitcher, or you can pour it right from your milk container. Just be careful because it might be heavy. All right, I'm going to pour it all in there. Let it settle for a second or two. Now, milk is pretty cool. We drink milk because it's got a lot of vitamins and proteins and even some fats in there. And the fats for this experiment is what is important. And it's all in that milky solution. The fats don't really mix in as well. And milk has a lot of water in it with all those vitamins and nutrients and fats. And a lot of that is in solution with the water, but fats are heavy. And they don't always stay mixed in with the water that's in the milk. And so that's what we're going to see what happens is when those fat molecules get disturbed, and we'll see. So let's first put some food coloring, some blue food coloring over here. I'm going to put a pile of it there. And of course, food coloring is mostly water, so that mixes in with the milk okay. And then let's do some red over here. A bunch of red. And like I said, food coloring is mostly water, so it's going to mix in with the milk. It's not going to disturb the minerals or the vitamins or the fats. So then I'm going to do yellow. Oh, look. You're starting to touch over there. Well, molecules are always moving. Molecules in milk, molecules in food coloring. Even though we can't see it, they're always moving. So here's our experiment. And you might ask yourself a question now. What do you think is going to happen if we take and put a little drop of soap in our pan? What do you think will happen? Well, soap, it's usually really sudsy, it cleans our dishes. I wonder what it's going to do to the milk. So let's try it, and then I'll try to explain why it's happening like it is. So let's try it out. What do you think will happen? Well, it might mix up a little bit. Let's see what happens. So I'm going to use my dripper dropper, or you can use the paintbrush. Get a little bit of soap on the end. And this is where we want just a little drop. And I'm going to put it right in the middle. I'm going to drop it onto the milk, and let's see what happens. Oops, it didn't drop. I think I'm just going to have to use and touch it. There we go. Whoa! Check that out. That was just one little tiny drop of soap, and it's still moving. Oh, is that cool? I'm going to try, just in case you guys don't have a dropper, I'm going to do one with a brush. I'm going to do one right over here. I dipped it into the soap, and then I put it in there. The milk is still moving. That's pretty cool. So we're seeing our colors mix up. I see green. I see a little purple. Ooh, it's moving over here. I see some orange, and I still see some white too. Oh, a little bit of blue is kind of rolling across the screen. It's kind of like fireworks. I see a lot of yellowish green and some blue and some purples and some oranges. Those primary colors are mixing again. So why is this happening with the milk? Well, a simple explanation for that is the fat molecules that are in the milk are trying to combine with the soap molecules that are in the dish soap, and they kind of wrangle around and they try to find each other, and when they do, they kind of make bonds and they stick together. So that moves all the liquid in your pan, and you get your color mixing. Oh, look at this one. Oh, that was from the drop from the paintbrush. Oh my goodness, check it out. All right. So that completes all our experiments today and our craft projects and our color mixing. And I'm going to ask Tom if he has anything that he'd like to add to some of the learning that we've had here today.
Yeah, I think you made some great points. And the only thing I want to add is how important it is to practice with that dropper. I've taken some classes in high school and in college, and we've always used droppers. And it's really, really important when you take those classes to be able to count the drops that you're putting in and to know exactly how much you've been putting into your solution for some of the experiments that you do. So scientists working in high-tech labs use eyedroppers like that, or sometimes fancier ones, but the principle is always the same, and they always recommend that you practice. So this is really, really good practice for doing high-level science.
Yep, it sure is. I'm going to turn my camera back and and say goodbye. We hope you had a lot of fun doing these projects today, and we'll hope you join us again next time when we do magnifying glasses.
All right. Well, then I just want to add that we are doing these sessions live every week. Every Tuesday, we are doing Get Crafty, which is where we all do a craft together. On Thursday, we are doing Let's Create a Story, where we all get together and we decide what kind of story we're going to tell, and we create a story together. And then every Friday, we're doing First Step Science, what we did today, where we learn about science tools and do some science demonstrations, and we just learn a little bit about the world. So I hope that you'll join us for those. You can register for all of those at greatlakeskids.org/news and events. And if you're able to donate, we appreciate anything that you can give during this time when fewer people are coming through the door. To donate to the Great Lakes Children's Museum, just go to greatlakeskids.org/donate, and you can once again find all of our news and events there. So that's all we've got. We hope you join us again next week for all of our programs, and until then, we'll say goodbye. Bye.
Bye.